Hey guys, Myles here at Tactical Hyve with another quick tip. And this time we're going to focus on the pistol and particularly aiming the pistol concerning holds and sight picture. Now, you may have heard of the phrases combat hold and center hold. Those are two common ways of holding your pistol, your sights on a specific target when dealing with pertaining to sight picture. Combat hold is when the tip of your front sight, okay, that actual front sight is going to cover your intended target. Okay, so that is a combat hold. A center hold is when the top blade of your front sight is going to cut through the center of where you want your bullet to hit. So that is called a center hold versus a combat hold. Now you might be wondering, okay, what's the importance? At combat distances, there's really no, there's no difference. If I'm shooting a target at, let's say, 5 yards, whether it's combat hold or center hold, I'm going to hit my target. But this becomes very important when we talk about precision. So accuracy versus precision. So you're going to notice differences if your pistol or sights have different holds that are required and you don't know them. You may not be getting your rounds on target and think there's something wrong with you or something wrong with your gun. That could be the case in the sense that there's something wrong with the gun because certain sights and guns are manufactured to have a center hold or a combat hold. So as I was saying, the further out you are from your target, let's say 25 yards and beyond, knowing if your gun is set up for a center hold or a combat hold is extremely important, because if you don't know, you start missing the further out you are. So if you're at 25 yards, you'll be wondering, okay, maybe I'm bad, but it might just be your sights. It might just be you're using the wrong hold. So I'm going to take 3 shots with a center hold and a combat hold and determine, okay, this is how we figure out, okay, what is my gun, a combat hold or a center hold? Now you can do this more scientifically by using a bench rest, and so you're not shaking and there's no human error. There likely will be some human error. I'm shaking around, but I'll do 3 shots center hold and 3 shots combat hold, and that'll give you a good idea of where this gun is tuned into, all right, and the sights. Because this is a Glock and I've changed the sights, all right? So this is how you would determine it, all right? So I'm gonna do 3 shots center hold, then 3 shots combat hold. Okay. So those are 3 shots. Center hold, let's take a look, and then I'm going to do 3 shots combat hold. So as you can see, this is center hold. So center hold again, the blade of my front sight is right here. And as you can see, it's pretty, it's pretty level here in terms of elevation. I threw some shots off to the left, but you can see here at 25 yards, it's basically elevated. So now let me use a combat hold. So the assumption here is if I had the front blade, the top blade of the front sight here, these sights seem like they are set for a center hold because we're pretty much even here in elevation. I may have just, again, shanked some of these shots here to the left, but let's take a look what a combat hold produces. All right, so now we're going to use the combat hold and see how that changes up the accuracy on the target. All right, let's go take a look. So as you can see, they're much higher as a whole. So there was one there, I probably just rushed it or shanked it and moved it last minute. But you can see that my gun or the shots are higher when I'm using a combat hold. Now I know my gun. I already knew what the answer is. My gun, my sights are set up for a center hold at further distances. So you can see by using a combat hold, if I wanted to take precisely accurate shots, I can't do this because if I use a combat hold covering this target, they're much higher here. I did have an outlier here, but you can see these 2 shots are higher. So there you have it. If you're at combat distances, you don't really have to worry about that. But if you want precise shots as you get further out, you need to really understand your sights and your gun. What hold do your sights have? What hold does the manufacturer send their guns out with? Now, I've changed the sights on my Glock here, so I know that it was going to change, or it might change. So I have tested out in the past. So if you ever change sights on your gun, I recommend also doing this test. If you want to be scientific about it, use a bench rest so that you don't have wobble. But if you're a really advanced shooter and you're very accurate, then you don't have to worry too much about the bench rest, but it's always a good idea. Anyway, I hope that quick tip helps with your accuracy from shooting at further distances.